Hello, my name is Michelle and I'm an independent advisor with Creative Memories from Fargo, North Dakota. And today I'm going to show you how to make the triangle twist border. It is going to be a fun little technique and basically will be a recipe, so to speak, that you can use on your borders going forward with any type of paper pack. I have a few different options I'm going to show you today, but we are going to create together with the Emerald Gemstone. So whichever product you have available is what you can use for this border. I just have the Emerald Gemstone product out here so you can see it does have a designer paper pack and the tone on tone paper, and most of this will be using the tone on tone as we just want some more of a tonal paper with a little bit of some contrast in it, because the borders do kind of get a little busy. It also comes with border embellishments along with stickers and the Variety Matte Pack. So what you will need to create your border today, let me show you quick here what we're going to do. These are what we're going to start with this one. This is what we will be creating, and it will end up like this one. So what you will need to create these two borders is 5 or 6 pieces of tonal paper, designer paper, 5 mainly for the border, but then when we add the base to make the triangle twist, we'll add a couple more pieces of designer paper. So here are the tonal papers that I've chosen. We'll just need one little scrap of cardstock. We are just going to use that for this main border that will be covered up so you won't see it. So that is that, and then we will be using repo tape. Will probably be your best bet for this one. It will be a little bit harder to do with regular adhesive. And then the Border Maker System. And for this one, we are going to use the Gemstone Chain Border Maker cartridge. Let's see if I can pop it out here quick. So you can see that was the one that, so that'll be this design here that we'll be using so you can use any chain Border Maker cartridge that you have. I have a few of them set out here. This is the mirrored triangle, and I do have some examples of that. And then the apple chain works well with this as well, along with the infinity chain. So any Border Maker cartridge that has a chain on it will work. And then of course we'll be using our 12-inch trimmer. All right, so let's get started. We will start with cutting our base piece of cardstock. Any scrap you have, or even the back of the sheets that come in the paper packs work well for this also. And what we'll do is we'll line it up at 2 1/4. And I love the trimmer that it has the lines all the way down, so I can line it up, make sure we're good to go all the way down, and we'll make our cut. And then we'll just set that piece aside. And now we are going to use our tonal papers and choose which ones we would like to use for the border itself. And we will be cutting 3 strips that are 3 1/4 by 12 inches. Let me see, I'll set my note right here so you can see. So we just did the cardstock, which was 2 1/4 by 12, and now we'll be doing 3 strips, which are 3 1/4 inches by 12. And for that, we can just go right on this side here. Again, the lines are all the way down, so we know they're paper straight. And make our cut. There's our first strip. And this will be our second strip here. I had certain ones in mind that I was going to use, and then I flipped them over to put the repo tape on, and I'm like, oh, I like that side better. So this collection, basically anything goes, I think. I don't like how that's lining up here. Let's try this side. Okay, again, 3 1/4 inch by 12-inch strip. And then the last one, our third strip. There we go, one more cut. All right, so now for our border we have, let's set the trimmer out of the way just a little bit here. We have our main cardstock piece that we'll be adhering the borders to, and then the 3 strips, or excuse me, we'll be adhering the 3 strips too. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Again, here for reference, if you'd like to see, this is what the border is that I created. And so we'll go ahead with the blue. And for it is, the main purpose of using the Repo tape is we do want to be generous with the amount of tape because we will be cutting this border. So it works best to be able to run it all the way down so we know the whole border is stuck. The one thing is a little hard to see the edges here, so make sure I'm getting it all the way down. I'm just going to move this in front so I can grab it here quick. Just want to make sure we get that over to the edge. I have been, most of them that I've done have had a little bit left, so we will trim if we need to for that, and no worries if that's how yours ends up as well. So here is the second strip now. See, I had it like this first, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this side better. So anyways, we'll go with this side. Again, Repo tape all the way down. I'm just going to pull it up here so I can see a little bit. Repo tape is nice to readjust to if we get off a little bit. And then the third strip, we'll go ahead and put our Repo on. All right. Yes, and it looks like I will have a little bit of my border showing, but that's okay. Or of the black piece showing. We will trim that here in a minute. I just noticed that this maybe isn't down all the way, so let's readjust here. There. Okay, there we are. We have our 3 strips on the cardstock base. So we'll set those to aside here, and now we will go ahead and use the Border Maker system. I have the cartridge in the housing already. And then let's bring the tray out to put our paper in. And the first sheet is kind of this nice finely striped. It kind of gave a nice little textured look to the for the border as well. Just so you know, I put the paper all the way to the edge of the tray, and we'll just attach that to the back here. Put that in. I find that it's easier for me to start at the top and work my way down. Make sure you can see everything here. So there's a notch here in the middle of the Border Maker housing, which will match the notch here where the paper holder is. Go ahead and put it in the grooves, and we'll just slide on down. Once we punch, make sure that you have it all the way against the paper tray so you can make a clean cuts. Okay. Oops. And I will just scooch these out of the way here. Pardon my arm reach. So here is our first gemstone chain border that we've cut. And then we will go ahead and use the green paper. Again, flipping the paper tray out so we can slide our paper in, lifting the handle up, and then we will, like magnetic strip holds it in place once we put it down. I just love these colors here with the Emerald Gemstone paper collection. Again, slide the paper in, starting at the top. Like I said, it's just a little bit easier for me to do it that way and bringing it down. Kind of bring it out a little bit to make sure it doesn't get caught. Matching the grooves up, like I'm going to do right here. There we go. And making sure it's all put in place with the notches. Okay, let's slide this out of the way. Sometimes it's nice to keep these too for borders if you need them. They make nice bows too to make for decorations on your pages as well. Okay, border cartridge and housing unit we are done with for now. So then again, let's bring out our pieces here. So just to put this note back up here again, we started with the 2 1/4 inch by 12 inch cardstock. Then we cut the 3 strips, 3/4 inch by 12 inch. And now we have cut our 2 borders from the Border Maker system. And I have noticed that the spun gemstone chain makes great little designs here. This is how, as you'll see, the zigzag through here. But I also noticed that if you flip it, let's see, this way, it kind of gives you a different pattern as well, which I did create one using this on another one I will show you, so you can kind of see just the inside, how the patterns look with that. Again, we'll be using the Repo tape and making sure we get the edges down and then all the way straight down as it, like I said, we will be cutting it so that way we know that which way that, or so nothing will come up once we cut. So we'll go ahead and just put it right down the seam. And what I was doing was this middle piece right here, just kind of making sure that that was lined up against the seam to do it, make sure it's kind of straight or stays in the same pattern like that. And now we will go ahead and put Repo on the back of this. And then again, lining it up with that little cut there. Just pick this up so I can see, get it started. There we go. And it is totally up to you, however you would like to, just want to bump this out, whichever direction you would like to use, whichever border maker you have. Like I said, the chain ones work for these. I think we could probably do stickers as well. I wanted to show you in the border embellishments before I stuck those down though. Sorry, this is going to get a little confusing here, but we can use, maybe that'll show up since it's black. You know, the infinity chain works well. Makes a fun little pattern in the middle too. And then the apple chain, I punched those are a little bit bigger. So either way, it would just leave a little bit less paper in between, but still makes a very cool pattern and a fun little border idea with those as well. So just some different ideas. I also thought, since the emerald gemstone had border embellishments, those may work also. You can use these 2 colors. These are probably the ones that would work the best, just to put down the middle on those. And then once you'll see once we cut how super cool they would look. You could probably even use border stickers if you wanted to also. So now what we're going to do, now that we have those cuts made, I'll set that out of the way here. Now we will go ahead and take the border. I think I am going to trim off. I have just that little black edge, if you can see that. So I just want to line that up on my trimmer, and I'm going to trim that off. So then we don't have to worry about it going forward here. And I just lined it up right on the black, the dotted line here. I'm gonna have to flip my mat. So, but that way, just trim off that little excess border. So using our 12-inch trimmer, we will go ahead and we're gonna make triangles. There's no rulers, there's no pencils, no measurements, no nothing. We will just use this 45-degree angle right here on our trimmer and put the point right up to the cutting line there. Mine is kind of worn, but it should be a black dotted line. And if you want to make sure, you can use the sight guides on the trimmer just to make sure you're cutting right at the point. And we'll go ahead and make our first cut. There is a couple layers, so just make sure you use a little bit of pressure when you're making the cut. We will go ahead and we can use these in triangles, these little triangles, as embellishments, and I'll show you. So now that we've made our first cut, we're gonna turn it over and then slide it up again. So we're right along the 45-degree line here, putting the point right where our blade is gonna cut on the dotted line. I have noticed right here, the flat edge kind of matches really nicely at the 2-inch line here. So kind of a few different spots to gauge your cuts from. So now that we have that right at the point where we're going to cut, go ahead and make another cut. And here we have our first of 4 triangles. Again, flipping over, lining up on the 45-degree angle line, pushing up to the 2 inches, puts our corner right where we want to cut. And we will make our second triangle. When I first saw this, I thought for sure it was going to be way more complicated than it was. But as you can see, it's just a few simple cuts. And just basically 4 cuts of paper. We just did our cardstock. And then the 3 strips was all we needed to cut to make it, besides the 2 borders that we added on. There we go. There's our third triangle. And now we will flip it over one more time to get the 4th triangle, making sure everything's lined up. 45-degree angle. Our point is right on our mat where we want to cut. And now we have our 4th triangle for the border. And now you will see that we've kind of got an odd shaped shape left. And if we would go ahead and put the flat edge, make sure you can see the top of my trimmer, put the flat edge right at the top and put this point again right on our cutting mat where it's going to cut. You can use the sight guides to make sure you're getting right on there. And then we'll go ahead and make this cut. This is kind of a fun little embellishment also, but we will not be using those. Maybe save those for another use. But now we have 2 smaller triangles as well as our 4 large ones. Now we will go ahead and cut the base for our twisted triangle border. And for that, we're going to use cut 3 pieces of paper. This is going to be up to you on your preference. This is going to be a layered border, so we're going to do one 3-inch by 12-inch, one that is 2.5 by 12, and one that is 2 1/4 by 12. Totally up to you how many layers you would like to do, but you will need at least one so we can go ahead and adhere our triangles onto them. So I will go ahead and start with the 3-inch border. For the 3-inch paper here, we'll just use this dark black and blue stripes. Again, lining all the way up or all the way down on the trimmer. Make it a nice cut. So here's our 3-inch by 12-inch. And then this pretty green we will use, and that is 2.5 by 12 inches. Again, I gotta line it all the way up so I know it's straight. And then we'll layer that, and then we're gonna lighten it up a little bit with this fun white and light blue, and this one will be 2 1/4 by 12 inches. You could use normal tape runner to adhere these, but since we just have we've been using the Repo, I will go ahead and use that again. And now we'll just go ahead and adhere these down. You can see here, maybe get it out here. Just using a little bit of Repo all the way down. And we'll just go ahead and center the first one right on top. Try to get that as centered. I think so, good enough. And then we'll go ahead and do, see, look how fun these papers are. You just kind of want to use both sides for everything. Do this now, the 2 1/4 by 12 inch. We will center that on the 2 1/2 by 12 inch layer. Okay, now we are ready to add our triangles. If you'll notice, it's totally up to you, but you'll see that I have 2 that will have the green bottoms and 2 that'll have the blue, and we will just be using 3 of these. So I'm going to set one aside, and then we'll start with the blue, I think is what I'm going to do. Making sure you get the corners good on these triangles. And what I do is just bring it down just a little bit from the top and line it up right on the edge of the 2 1/4 inch layer. Hopefully I'm still in camera view here. And then since these 2 are the matching, we'll go ahead and do both of those on this side. Again, getting the points of your triangles. And just a little bit up from the edge. If you would like to, you can definitely measure it out to make sure you're getting it equal on both sides. I'm just going to kind of eyeball them in. Rub off that repositionable tape there. It's one thing that's nice about doing that. You can do it right on your papers. And it doesn't affect anything. And then for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and eyeball to see make sure it's about the same width apart on the top and the bottom, and go ahead and adhere. All right, look at that. Super simple, way simpler than when it looks when you first see it, isn't it? So we started with this border, which you can absolutely add your own embellishments to and call it good on that. And then you will have 2, you can make a second one and have it on 2 pages. And now we have these 2 together. These 3 triangles we can use as embellishments on our page. And I have a few samples I will show you now using some of the more recent product collections that Creative Memories has right now. So I'll set these aside. I'll be using them here in with some of the displays. But the first one is with the Party Time collection. Hopefully we can see this. I'll kind of set everything aside here. So the Party Time collection has Fast to Fab papers, which are so fun because we're used to having just the Fast to Fab album pages. And so now we have papers that we can use for the same thing. So what I did here is, you know, sometimes if you just wanted to add a little bit, if you don't have a lot of pictures to put on the pages, these are already decorative on the page. And then you can go ahead and add your borders here. So this was, I didn't want to tape them down so you could see. So just adding these fun little borders here adds it up, it just adds a little bit more detail to the page. If you want, with the extra triangles, you could easily stick those on the corners for the photos, put them up on your page like that, and maybe one down here too, whichever you decide. If you think you need to add some more embellishments. But I just put these photos on, or the photo places on here, so you can see what it would look like with pictures. So this is Party Time, one of the collections that is out now. And then also with the Party Time, I wanted to show another way, since this has candles at the top, and maybe you don't need to have, you don't need the collection anymore. You've used it for all of your celebrations and would like to cover that up. You could put these right across the top. And you can see how much that changes the page. And now we no longer have a celebration. It doesn't need to be pictures you don't need to find photos to fit on there. You can cover that border up, and now you have a 2-page spread with your pictures on there. New borders on the top completely changes the design of the page. And I did notice on here too that you know, this probably maybe doesn't go with your pictures. You can just adhere one of our little triangles right to the corner there, covers everything up. Nobody would know. And there's your little journal box that you have for your 2-page spread. And then I did a layout with the mirrored triangles border maker. Actually, I'll show you a couple different ones with this. Love this collection. These colors are just gorgeous as well. So here is just using the border plain like we first started out with. That the simple little border. We got our photos on here. I used one of the last triangle we had down here in the corner, and then one of the small ones just right up here on the page. Simple little page, gorgeous collection. Add your embellishments however you choose. And then I also wanted to show with the big border that we just made how you could add that on to the side here, in top, bottom, wherever it would fit in your pages. We could bring this down like this. And then we have our fun little variety mat with the little triangle already adhered on there. Fun little 2-page spread. If you wanted to, you could even keep the triangle down here to bring the flow through both pages. So another fun idea. And then this one is using the mirrored triangle border maker cartridge along with the Boho Escape product collection. So now back to the gemstone. The Emerald Gemstone. This is going to be my 2-page spread, and it may be a little busy, but with the theme for our crop, I thought it would be kind of fun to have the Starry Night paper. These I will use as just little embellishments once I get my pictures on the photo mats. And then we can go ahead and add our big borders on here. Look how fun this is. Maybe a little bit busy for some. I love the collection. I love the colors. There has been a research done that blues and greens go with, I don't remember, I'm not going to say a percentage or the amount, but with the majority of your pictures. That's why you probably are always out of blue and green paper and cardstock, because they go so well with all of your pictures. But what I wanted to use this for with the theme again is Melodies and Memories. And I thought this would be fun for a concert page. I'll have to add my pictures and I will post that in the comments once this video posts. But how fun would that be? Because I noticed that these stickers, it would be fun to use the gemstone rocks as well for a rock concert, but Wild and Free would work perfect. Rock On, how perfect are those stickers to use for a concert page? Would not have thought of, I'm sure a lot of people don't think of it to use it for everyday pages that don't have to do with outdoors. So it'd be a great concert. Even a concert outdoors would be awesome to use for this 2-page spread. But I thought it was super fun. Love the colors again. And you can see now going through the different collections and using the different border maker cartridges how this twisted triangle twist border can be a recipe for you to use with any collection that you have or any pages that you have. It can be a rock concert, it can be a birthday party, it can be any vacation pictures. It just goes with everything. And another reason for these borders is to, when they're off on the side, they don't distract a lot from your pictures. So the main focus will be right on your pictures, but you still have this beautiful decorative element on the side of your pages. Well, I hope you enjoyed following along with me in making your triangle twist border. I would like to give credit to Chrislyn Matei, who designed this border. She is also a very talented Creative Memories advisor, and they refer to her as the border queen, and she does a fantastic job. Happy scrapping.